What's up guys, my name is Ignas, welcome back to the channel. So I believe last week we have finished with the healthcare sector, and now I would like to turn our attention to technology, in particular semiconductors. So I've picked 3 dividend paying stocks from the industry, and the first one is Analog Devices, ticker symbol ADI. On the year today, the stock is now down for 15.11%, losing $26.76, but zooming out to 5 years, the price went from $80 back in 2017, up for 86.96% to $150.28 per share. Company's market cap is at $77.4 billion, and the stock is trading at a dividend yield of 2.02%. So this is the first one for today's comparison, but I have 2 more to put against it. Second name I've picked is Microchip Technology, ticker symbol MCHP. On the year today, the stock is down for 26.28%, losing $23.13 per share, but zooming out to 5 years, the stock is up. In 2017, it was trading for $43.29, but in 5 years went up to $64.74 per share, higher for 49.86%. Company's market cap is half of Analog Devices at $35.8 billion, and the stock is trading at a dividend yield of 1.86%. So these are the first 2 picks to compare, and here I am bringing the third. That is Skyworks Solutions, ticker symbol SWKS. On the year today, the stock is down the most, minus 38.3%, losing over $61 for each share, and zooming out to the last 5 years, it's the only stock down out of the 3. In 2017, it was trading at almost $105 per share, and in 5 years went down for 5.78% to $98.56. Market cap here is the lowest at $15.8 billion, and this stock is trading at a dividend yield of 2.52%. So these 3 will be the dividend-paying semiconductor stocks for today's comparison, and in order to make that possible, let's go to Google Sheets. So I have made a table for the stock comparison, and the tickers are already in. Now for it to work, we'll use 5 different metrics: dividend yield, dividend payout ratio, number of years of consecutive dividend increases, 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate, and the current dividend yield compared to its 5-year average. We will check the number for every stock under each metric and add them into this table. The best name on each line gets a point, then we sum up the results, and the stock with the most best metrics will be considered the winner of this dividend comparison. I hope that the rules are clear, so let's start. So the first metric is the dividend yield. It is calculated by taking the annual dividend per share and dividing it by the share price. Analog Devices is currently paying an annual dividend of $3.04 per share, so at the price of $152.36, that is a dividend yield of 1.99%. Now let's take Microchip. Their dividend is at $1.20. So at a price of $65.72 per share, here we have a dividend yield of 1.83%. And lastly, Skyworks. Their dividend is $2.48. So at a stock price of $99.79, that is a dividend yield of 2.48%. Next metric is the dividend payout ratio. The percentage here shows what part of company's earnings are being used to pay dividends. So in Analog Devices case, the dividend payout ratio is at 31.42%, meaning that just under 1/3 of company's earnings are being used to pay dividends back to shareholders. Switching to Microchip Technology, and their payout ratio is at 21.21%. So here just over 1/5 of company's earnings are being used for dividends. And lastly, Skyworks Solutions, where they have the dividend payout ratio at 21.49%. Similar to Microchip, they are paying just over 1/5 of their earnings back to investors. Metric number 3 is the number of years with consecutive dividend increases. So the number shows for how many years the company has been increasing dividends for at least 1 quarter every year. In Analog Devices case, they have been increasing dividends straight for the last 21 years. Now we have Microchip, and they have been consistently increasing dividends for the last 20 years. And Skyworks with the lowest number, as they have been increasing dividends for the last 8 years. Metric number 4 is the compound annual dividend growth rate. We'll take the 5-year average, including the next year's estimate. So for Analog Devices, the 5-year dividend growth rate is at 9.63%. Switching to Microchip, and their annual dividend growth rate is at 12.39%. Lastly, Skyworks, where they have the compounded dividend growth rate at 12.12%. Now the last metric we are comparing is the current dividend yield compared to its 5-year average. And for that we'll use my dividend investing watchlist on Google Sheets. So we are in the tab for analog devices, and here we have its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years. Out of it we can calculate that on average in 5 years the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 1.88%. So the best time to get into the stock was back in 2017, where it was trading at a dividend yield of 2.16% over the 5-year average for 14.98%, and worst was by the end of 2021 with a dividend yield of 1.52% under the average for 19.09%. But if we are getting into the stock right now at a yield of 2.01%, that is now over the 5-year average for exactly 7%. So this is here that metric that we are looking for. Now let us take a look into the other two names. We are in the tab for Microchip. Here we have its dividend yield history of the last 5 years, and on average it was trading at a dividend yield of 1.47%. So the best yield was back in 2018 at 1.96% over the 5-year average for 33.68%, and worst in the beginning of 2021 at 0.92% under average for 37.25%. But getting into the stock right now at a yield of 1.85%, that is way over average for 26.18%. Now lastly we get Skyworks, and on average in 5 years it was trading at a dividend yield of 1.62%. So the worst yield was again in the beginning of 2021 at 1.02% under average for 36.96%, but we currently do have the best yield of the last 5 years at 2.51%, which is over the 5-year average for 55.12%. Now if you would be interested in doing a similar analysis for another dividend paying stock yourself, you are able to do that by following the first link at the top of the description. Otherwise feel free to add a ticker symbol in a comment below, and I'll consider adding that into the watchlist myself. Maybe you could share some interesting opportunities available in the market that I'm still missing. So now we can go back to our comparison table, and the numbers for each metric are in. We can start assigning points. Skyworks Solutions gets the first point for the highest dividend yield at 2.48%, a point to Microchip for the lowest dividend payout ratio at 21.21%, Analog Devices gets a point for the highest number in years of consecutive dividend increases with 21. The 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate goes to Microchip Technology with 12.39%, and the ratio of current dividend yield compared to its 5-year average goes to Skyworks with 55.12%. Now that we've assigned points, we can calculate results. So Analog Devices has 1 point, Microchip Technology 2, and Skyworks Solutions also 2. This means that we currently have a tie between MCHP and SWKS. So let us hide the stock with the least points and reassign it to another on that metric. So Microchip gets another point with 20 years of consecutive dividend increases. Now we can recalculate points. So Analog Devices has 1, Microchip 3, and Skyworks 2. This means that with 3 points, Microchip Technology is considered the winner of this dividend comparison. And that was it. Make sure to support the channel and leave a thumbs up under the video. Are you holding Microchip Technology in your portfolio? Share your stance on the name in a comment below. Now if you would be interested in getting access to that stock watchlist I'm using, then consider memberships. By becoming a member you will get access to Discord, where I share all my materials and all the buys and sells exactly when I do them. This could be a great option to track my moves closely. Last week I've looked into several other companies, so if you are interested in any of these, then click on a video that is currently on the screen. And that was it from my side. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing y'all in the next one.